27 years of my life, I felt like something's missing. They would just say this sentence that, oh my God, but you're a foreigner, you're a foreigner. And it got stuck in my head. I was not always so clear about what I wanted to do. It just felt like free falling. I feel so different and excluded. I don't feel connected to this place at all. I went to Singapore with my friends a few years back. So she asked me, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And she kept on asking me that, and I just sat there and I just kept on thinking to myself, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? I come across this video on YouTube. It was a Casey Neistat video. Now, that video is what made me accept it. It has to take 3 years for you and a stranger's video about their life for you to accept your truth and your reality. And little did I know that the moment I will land in the city, my life will change. Hi, guys. So, today we are in a very different setting, and finally it's happening. I'm shooting my first solo podcast episode. It's been quite some time since I've been like getting requests also to do a solo episode, and I've been thinking also for doing it because there are so many things that have come to my mind that I want to like talk about and share with you guys. Some of the things maybe, just to get to know me a little bit more, and some of the things maybe just general topics that I feel like I want to share my views on and talk about. So I felt like for the first episode, I should start with something that gives you an, you know, outline of where I've been and where I've come from there, how far I've come in terms of, when people see this, when people see doing me this podcast and everything's great and, all of that stuff. But I feel like I want to share that it was not always like this. I was not always, that so clear about what I wanted to do. There was a time when I didn't know. There was a time where I felt so confused and I felt so lost, for the lack of a better word, that, and I felt like that I would never get to a place where it just felt like free falling. Like I used to get these dreams also where I'm like free falling. Those dreams have stopped coming now because, yeah, I don't feel that way anymore. And our dreams are always interpretation or manifestation of what we are actually subconsciously feeling, which we might not know, but yeah, it's there in the back of our mind. So I feel like it would be nice for you to get to know me in that sense, where you get to know that where I was and now where I am, to just bridge that gap of knowing me, basically. The story starts from when I was a child. I don't remember the exact age, but I'm sure it was like way back. Like I must be in fifth standard or something in school. And the first thing, the first image or the first picture that comes to my mind is me standing outside my house with my cousins, and it was late in the evening and we were all just standing there talking about something. I don't know, I don't remember exactly the conversation or something, but we were just there and we used to get together every evening. We used to play, all of the cousins, and we used to live together, we used to play together, and it was like a really fun time that we used to get to spend together. So I'm sure, I mean, from the title of the podcast you already know that what it's going to be about, the story. So it starts from this picture that I'm standing outside with my cousins where we're talking about something and I just say something or something, I don't remember exactly. And my cousins and they just go and say like something, and oh, but you're a foreigner, and they said it like repeatedly once or twice, and I didn't like it. I felt a little bad about it. I felt like, oh my God, like, I'm not fitting in. Like, they're not like making me feel like a part of it. And I feel so different and excluded if, when they. But that was not the moment where I actually felt that, okay, yeah, it's something like that. Because it was a very initial moment. I was in fifth standard or something. But this kept on going. This kept on going where even when I went to school, my friends would say this. Even when I Like, say, for example, when I, over the years, in fact, when I would talk to my cousins or like talk about anything basically, or share my point of view on something, so they would just say this word, they would just say this sentence that, oh my God, but you're a foreigner. And it got stuck in my head. It got like, it stayed with me over the years. It became like imprinted in my subconscious, which I only became aware of recently. Or, once you start thinking about things, where something is coming from, why you thought this way, why you thought that way. So it just started coming after that, like coming to my, I started understanding consciously that, okay, it comes from there. Um, so yeah, I mean, they would say these things, and I would feel like, I would not feel like a part of like everyone around me. And not in a bad way or something, but when 10 people are just the same, and when you are the only one who feels like, oh, but I feel like I don't relate to these people. It wasn't like just them not relating to me. It was, for me, it was more that because I felt like, oh, I don't relate to these people. I don't relate to these things. I don't relate to maybe this food or all of that stuff. Since I was a child, I think this was there. And I think before the foreigner comments started and everything, even when I was very young, before that also, I used to feel like, where am I? Like, this is not my place. This is not my place. Like, I feel like I'm not, like, where am I? Like, what is this place? I don't feel connected to this place at all, which is like very weird, because yeah, I don't know, it should be weird. Because if you're born in a certain place and in a family or something where everything's great, but you constantly feel like alien, you feel like, oh, what is this world that I'm in, which I don't feel connected to even the slightest, even in the smallest way. I don't feel connected at all. And so that feeling was there. And then the foreigner comments started happening. And it was said in a very fun, joking manner. And I also didn't realize that I was picking it up, like I said. But okay, fine. That thing happened and it went on. Even I used to go to school and my friends would also say these things and everything. But like I said, I didn't make anything of it. One thing also I accepted is that, okay, maybe I'm going to feel this way for the rest of my life. Like, this is it. This is how I'm going to feel. It's like, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know what to think of it, and I didn't know if there was any solution that I could even get for this feeling that I had, which was like not feeling that I belong here. I belong with these people, or I belong in this place. Yeah. And it kept on happening. Um, from there, I think I got to the point where my brother had gone to a summer school in US, and he was telling me about his experience and everything about the summer school. And I felt like it was such a cool, nice experience to have with all these like people from different countries and cultures, and a chance to meet new people, because I felt like I always lived in a bubble. I always had the same kind of people around me, the same family, the same friends. And, there was no, even if you went to school, like it was very close knit, type environment where you did not have much exposure of people from different cultures and countries, which is, I think, what I craved. I felt like I want to know different cultures and people from different countries. And so he went to this summer program and he shared all his experience, and I loved it. And I didn't think much of it, but then after a while I was like, hey, I also, want to experience that. I want that experience. I feel like it sounds really fun, and I should go try it. Like, I should enroll for a summer program in the coming year. And that's what I did. I enrolled for a summer program, and I looked for a bunch of programs in London, Paris, and everything. Paris because my brother was already there in Paris, and London because it's closer to Paris. So then I didn't think of any other country or anything. Mostly I was looking at programs in Europe or in London. And I came across like a few, and which were like something that I was interested in doing. But I think out of those two universities got shortlisted. One was like HEC Paris, which had like a bunch of programs, and and one was a college or a university in London. I don't remember the name, but yeah. So I was like confused between the two. Uh, because I think the London one was like a little longer. Maybe the program was a little more interesting and better. I was like, okay, fine, let me see. So I went and checked the details for the London program, for the HEC program and everything. And I found out that, okay, the London program is good and everything, but it does not offer accommodation with the program. Like you have to look for accommodation on your own and then do the program, which I was not keen on doing because it would be a hassle because I was just going by myself. It wasn't like I was enrolling into a university where I would meet students and for 4 years like we would be together so that I would have roommates or something. So I didn't want to do that, and that would defeat the whole purpose of like being on the campus, being with people, and yeah, having that exposure on a much nicer, broader level where if you're in the campus with living with people, then yeah, it's a different experience than just living on your own and going, and that was not what I was like interested in. And luckily for me, I found out that HEC had not only had like a bunch of programs that I could choose from. So all of the programs were like 2 weeks, and you could choose like multiple programs that you wanted to do. There were dates and there were months and everything that was given for the, on what like which dates or which cohort like suits you. And so, and plus they afford, like, plus they gave accommodation with the program. Like, so once you pay for the program, you get the accommodation with it as well. So you don't have to go look for accommodation outside, because it can be overwhelming in a new country to go look for accommodation, just for a 2 week program. Like nobody wants to go through that hassle, right? So I think HEC got that very right. And I just applied for the program. I was like, okay, let's just apply. I didn't tell anybody anything. Like, I was like, let's just apply for the program. Let's see even if I get into it or not. I don't even know if I'll actually get into it only. So I was like, okay, yeah, I applied. I heard back from them after a while and I was accepted. Like, I applied for 2 programs. I was accepted for the both. And I was like, okay, great. Now I have to like tell my dad and like, okay, I was accepted and that I want to go and it would be fun. So I said to him, and he, like, every time he's like, it's okay, like this, don't go this time, go next time. And now this is where the like, it starts getting interesting, because I just thought of, I didn't think much of it. I just applied very randomly. I was not, yeah, thinking of it in any way. But the moment my dad said that, don't go this year, go next year, something changed. Something just shifted in me. There was this voice that came inside me, which was like, and I just asked myself. So I do this check in with myself every, for everything. If something's important or something, like, do I want to do that? Do I want to do this? Like, so I do this self check in with me where I ask myself, like, like, yeah. So I was like, so can I go next year? This is what I asked myself. And a voice inside me said, no, you have to go now. And I'm not even kidding. The voice exactly came to me, like exactly how I'm just saying it right now on camera. Like it was exactly that. It felt like that it so badly wanted me to go. Like I'd miss out on something if I didn't go. Like it was so important for me. But yeah, of course, I didn't like conclude all of it at once from that voice. But I picked up the urgency from my voice. I picked up that, no, it's trying to like, something's there. Something's there and it's trying to tell me something, because it's so strongly telling me that you have to go. Like there's no, you have to go. Like there's something, you have to go. And I was like, okay, I'm getting emotional. But I was like, okay, if that voice is telling, because for a long time I hadn't like heard that kind of a strong voice coming from me where I was like, you have to do this, like with so much conviction, surety, confidence, and urgency more than anything, that it's urgent, you have to go. Like something, it's like your life, like something, I can't even explain that feeling, but it was, yeah, it was like that. And I understood, I picked up on it, and I was like, okay, I have to go for it. Like no matter what, I have to just convince my dad that, listen, this, and I told him later, or maybe that time itself, that listen, I would have agreed with you, and gone next year for this program, but there's something in me that's telling me that I have to go now. And so I have to. Like, I hope you can understand. Like, please understand. It's. And then he finally, like, I don't know if he understood, like, all that I was saying. He's like, okay, yeah, this girl wants to go. And she's like, she really wants to go. So let me let her go. So yeah, then he was like, okay, fine, go. And I got enrolled. I paid the fees and everything. My seat got confirmed and everything. So yeah, again, not thinking anything of it. And still, even at the, like, so from now, so it's time for me to, like, go, and I'm at the airport. And even when I'm at the airport, like, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm going alone, and I was feeling scared. Like, my brother was already there, but still I felt like I'm going into this place where nobody knows me. After college, like, I felt like this was the first time where you're going to be with people who don't know you at all, and it's just you. Nobody else is there with you. It's just you have to make it on your own, for this program that you're going for, and do well. And, like, you don't know what to expect also. I didn't know what to expect. Of course, the fun part that my brother had shared me, but by that time I had gotten over that fun part or something. I was just, like, worried that, oh my God, how it's going to be? How it's going to be? Is it going to be fine? Am I going to be okay? Like, I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be completely alone in this new environment. And what if people are not? I think a lot of it came from the fact that, I didn't, when I was in school and college, I had that feeling where I was around new people, strangers, and unknown people, and was studying with them, where I felt like, again, like I said, I didn't feel like I belonged there. People didn't make me feel in, like, oh, that you're a part of us. Like, we're in this together, like, as a class or as a cohort who's studying that program. I never got that feeling. I always felt like the odd one out. I always felt like, oh my God, where am I? Like, I always felt that way. But I did, so I think that fear and that worried feeling was coming from that, because that's the kind of experiences I've had since school and college. So it was coming from there. So I was like, okay, only now I can feel like, okay, that's why maybe I was worried and all of that, because I've sat with it, I've thought about it and everything. But in that moment, I was just consumed by that fear and that worry that, oh my God, what's happening? Like, I'm going alone. I'm by myself at the airport. I'm traveling alone. And oh my God, like, how is it going to be? And little did I know that the moment I will land in this city, my life will change, and it will never be the same again, in the best way possible, like, in the most beautiful, best way possible. I was unaware of that. Sometimes you never know. You walk into, you know there's the saying that, you don't even know, and sometimes you can just walk into home. Like, you can just walk into a place and you're home. I wasn't aware that this is going to happen, but the moment I landed there in that city, something just changed. Something shifted. I felt all that worry that I was feeling at the airport the night before was just gone. And there was this one feeling that came, which was, I just felt a little like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain that feeling. That worry was there, but it wasn't like crazy worry, like crazy fear. Like, somehow that fear just went away. It was like a normal concern that, oh, how is the experience going to be? And it was very weird and strange for me to experience that, because I'd never felt like, when I've gone to places, I've never felt like suddenly, okay, I just feel great. Like, like, it felt like home, basically. I've Again, you don't understand it in the moment, but you just understand that something changed, something shifted, is what I realized. And then the next day, I still had that feeling. But everything, I felt good, like really good. And normally, like, if when you go into a new place, you can be a little anxious, but I was not anxious at all. Like, I was completely calm and that way. And I felt good. And I was like, huh, that's different than what I've experienced before. And I even checked in with myself, like I do every time. So I checked in with myself and I was like, I feel different. And then this voice inside me that came, but good different. And I was like, yeah, that's great. That's amazing. And it was very new to me, that feeling. I'd never felt that feeling before where I felt that way, that the moment I landed somewhere, I felt like, wow, I feel happy. Like yeah, I think I felt like happy for no reason. Just by landing in that city, just by being there. And I was like, wow. So, like this is like one how one can feel. Like, of course, all of this I figured later when I came back and sat and thought about it and everything. So I've just landed and okay, like I did a small check-in and it felt great. Everything was great. Then I enrolled in this program. Everything goes fine. And um, now I'll tell you why that check-in that I did with me the next day was important, because I went to Singapore with my friends a few years back before I went to Paris. And there, I think when I was there, we were there for 3 days. We'd gone for a friend's party, and I remember the first day when we had reached there, we were walking down the Orchard Street, in the evening, and we were standing at a walkway, and you had to wait because it was red light. So I was just standing there, and I felt completely like lost. And I was like, again, like I did a small check in with myself. Again, that city felt good because it was clean and fresh, and the air was like, had less pollution. Maybe that's why I breathed better in that city. So I felt like, okay, yeah, I feel good. But then I did a check in with myself. I was like, is is this the place? And something inside me was like, no, this is not the place. So even though I was not aware that consciously about all these things that were happening, where I'm doing these check-ins, and but I felt like, okay, there I don't belong here, and maybe there is some place, but I never consciously said that, oh, I have to go look for this place, because I felt like it felt too far-fetched. It felt too unapproachable or unbelievable of a thing to accomplish. Because I felt like there are so many cities and countries and places in the world. Where am I going to go to? And I didn't even know. I just felt like till this time, I just felt like something's missing before I went to Paris, and I had that feeling that, oh my God, this feels good and good different. This feels different, but good different. Before that, all my life, for 27 years of my life, I felt like something's missing. Like something's not right. Something's wrong. And it just stayed there. And I was like, then what do I do? And I was like, and it was so overwhelming, this feeling, because I didn't know what do I go. And I felt like there was something that I was supposed to find. I remember I had that feeling. I used to have that feeling, but I didn't know what. Like, is it like a place? Is it like a person? Is it like what? Is it like a city? I didn't know anything. And I was like, and I used to be so mad, like upset, like, okay, even if I try, you know, to go look for this thing, I don't even know what this thing is that I'm supposed to find or go look for. How am I going to do this? Is what I would tell myself. Like, like it's not realistic. Like, how will you be able to do it? I would tell myself. And I remember when I was in Singapore, um, gradually that feeling was building up, after I checked in with myself that, is this the place? I was still unaware. I was still lost or something. Like lost as in like there was this voice inside me that was maybe trying to tell me something, but I wasn't able to get. Like there was a communication understand. Like maybe it was saying it in French and I was only understanding English. That's what was happening. What was happening. So I remember, um, and I think Singapore became a very pivotal moment in like a it became like one of the major dots that connects this whole journey together. On the last day when we were in Singapore, my friends and we were going somewhere in the taxi, and I was sitting in the front and they were sitting in the back seat. And one of my friends just harmlessly, randomly, just looked at me and saw that I was like thinking something. And she asked me that, where do you want to go? She felt like maybe I don't want to go where we are going. So she asked me, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Tell me, and we'll go do that. We'll go there. We'll go do that thing. And she kept on asking me that, and I just sat there and I just kept on thinking to myself, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Like very loudly, like very, like angrily in a way. I was asking myself that, what do I want to do? What is it? Where am I lost? What am I thinking? I didn't even know. And yeah, I think it became just that moment. I didn't think too much of it. And like I said, after that, I was like, okay, randomly after I got back from that trip, after that trip, the Paris, the whole summer program thing plan got fixed up. And, I decided to go. After I came back from Paris, I used to think about that moment a lot because I think that moment stayed with me. Those words stayed with me. Every time I would, you know, entertain or like receive, like, okay, fine, I want to think about this thing, that this moment stands out and comes to my mind more. And yeah, and after I went to Paris and I came back, I think, okay, yeah, this is where I should have gone. This is where I was supposed to go. And it's great. It's all without me even knowing, without me even thinking and understanding that something like this could happen, it happened. But little did I know that day, the moment when I landed in Paris, and the next day also when I did that check in with myself, I had somehow reached that place without even trying, without even knowing, without even, thinking about, without no knowledge at all. But I just happened to, everything just happened to happen in a way that brought me there because that was important. But I didn't know it because I felt like I'm randomly doing these things. But now when I look back at it, I feel like nothing's random. All of these small things happened so that I could be there. And I also want to say this one thing, that I never planned all of this. All of this, like, I never even imagined that, okay, there can be a time where I wouldn't have this feeling in me that I feel so much at peace and calm. But sometimes, the things that you didn't even, like, I didn't even dream of it because it felt so far-fetched. So, yeah, I mean, all of these things again, like after the program got over, after, I had like a really great experience. I met amazing people that I really, really admire and look up to as people and as professionals or whatever they're doing in their life or whoever they are. But that whole experience, it just, all of these people that I met, first of all, most of them made me feel so, like, they didn't make me feel different. Like, I'll give you a small example. So during the summer program, one time, like when I went to class in the morning, and I think it was the first day or something, and I entered this class and I just sit on the first bench or something, and everyone's sitting on one side and I'm sitting there and on here and on one side where the bench is empty and stuff. So there was this one guy, he saw me sitting by myself and he's like, hey, very, very normally, very nicely, he said that, hey, come sit here, come sit with us. And that, I think, was the first time I experienced that. I'd never experienced that before that. And that kind of changed. Things started changing after that because, like I said, I lived in a city where I was only meeting the same kind of people. There was no reference point or no different kind of exposure for me to see that, oh, this is also possible. I just felt like there are only one kind of people in the world and I feel different and I feel excluded from all of them, is what I felt, because that's what my experience had been by that time. But when that guy, like, said that, okay, hey, come, sit with all of us, for the first time, I didn't feel different. I didn't feel like I was the odd one out. I was still the same person, is what is so amusing to me. I was still the same person. I still am the same person today also. But I feel like that exposure and that, somebody from a different perspective, like, yeah, looking at me and saying that everything's great, everything's good. Like, there's no, like, what is this thing in my head that I'm worried about? Like, or like everything about feeling different and all. Because then later on, I realized that everyone in that class was a stranger. Nobody knew anybody. Like, very few people might have come with a friend or something, but mostly everybody was like on their own. So everybody must have felt that way or something, or maybe not, but maybe that's who they were and that's how they behaved, and that's how they were with people, that they made people feel included and a part of everything. So when he did that, I think after that, I think I eased out a little bit. My guard got down. I became like a little, like I said, my guard came down, and like I was not like that vigilant all the time that, oh, something's wrong, something's wrong. Like that feeling had calmed down. I felt like, okay, everything's fine, everything's good. But yeah, I didn't stay that way for long because I think the whole experience was so amazing. I felt so much of a home in Paris. And when the program ended, when I had to come back, I just felt like, you know, when how you drink like a sugar drink and your glucose spikes, and after a while it just comes crashing down. That's exactly what happened when I came back from Paris. I was again back to this place around all these people where I felt like alien again, where I was like, what is this? Like, where am I again? How have I landed here again? And it didn't feel good. And for 2 months, it was crazy. I was like miserable. I was so low. I was feeling so low. And I started like a little bit, I started gaslighting myself. I was like, you know, maybe it's just that one experience, like there's nothing, like everything is the same like before only. And I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that when I was like telling myself those things. After that, I was like, okay, I just came to a point where I'm like, let's agree to disagree. Like, like, because there was no way, like how those negative thoughts or like some negative self-doubt or self-talk, like that voice when starts telling you things, which is what was happening when I came back to India. And it was like, okay, it was nothing, it's just in your, it's just you're thinking that way and everything. But so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna think about this thing, and I'm just gonna like just let it be. And I just started like, living my life and carrying on doing things, and like the same way going out with my friends, and the life went on and everything. But that thing stayed where uh one part of this voice, how in movies they show like when you have to make a decision, two people come out from you, like one is like that negative darker voice sound that keeps telling you something negative or bad about a situation, and the other one is like the good side, the good voice, the real actual voice that you should listen to. So that was happening. So I was aware that, okay, these two voices exist in me, where one voice is trying to tell me that, oh, this experience is insignificant, and other voice is trying to tell me that, listen, it's something's changed and you have to accept it, and in a good way. Something has changed for the better. You better take note of it, you better acknowledge it, understand it, analyze it, um and accurately derive and decipher information from it that you're supposed to, because this whole experience doesn't feel insignificant, it means something. So the good voice was telling me this. But it was too overwhelming for me to get to a decision, or sit down and think and come to a conclusion that, oh, I will listen to this side, this voice or that voice. So I just let it be. I just didn't do anything. I just was like, okay, let's just keep it here. I'm not even agreeing, I'm not even disagreeing, and we figure it out when we have to. Like, we as in like I I'll sometimes talk to myself like that. So I was like, we'll figure it out when we have to. For now, it's just gonna stay as it is, and no extra other thought is going to be put into it. And it just stayed there. After a while, I think, when this feeling like became too much, that this one voice started like taking over, I again wanted to like divert my mind, and I was like, okay, maybe I should do something. I was not consciously thinking of it that maybe I'll do this or I'll do that, but I was like, okay, this voice is becoming stronger and stronger. The good voice, not the bad voice. The good voice was like, hey, this, you have to accept it. Like, this is big. This is like, why are you not believing this? That, you felt like home in this city and around these people, or but most importantly, you felt at home in this city. You found a place where you belong. You have to accept it. You have to acknowledge it. You can't just you can't just be in denial about it and can't just let it go. So that voice was becoming stronger and stronger in me. And it was lockdown during that time. And now when it started becoming that strong, or like even before that, it had over the years. So I went to Paris in 2018. And so for 2 years, I think gradually that voice built up and became stronger and louder and bigger and bigger. And by the time it was 2020 and COVID hit, everyone was at home, and now there's no place you can go. You can't go out anywhere, anything. And of course, like everyone, I did feel trapped. But I was watching a lot of shows and a lot of podcasts at that time. And I didn't think, I was watching it, but I didn't think anything of it. Because I think watching podcasts or doing podcasts for me was like, and watching a conversation for me was like hanging out with like minded people, because I didn't have those kind of people in my city around me. So then it became like a way for me to hang out with them by watching them have a conversation and feel like, oh, yeah, I relate with that. I get that. I agree with this person. And I felt like, oh, there are, these point of views out there that are there in my head, which felt very, to people around me, which felt very like, what's she saying? Like. But when I heard these conversations of different people online, and when I heard them talking about things that I believed in, I felt like, oh, I'm not crazy to have this point of view about this thing. There are around me, there might not be people who agree with this, and I should just put them aside. But there are people around outside of this small bubble or vicinity that I'm living in, who actually think about this, believe in this. And so yeah, that happened in COVID. And I remember this one time, like it was randomly one day or one night, like one day, like in the evening or something, this some again, that voice inside me, the good voice, it just kept saying this word to me: I'm just curious, I'm just curious, do it, do it. And I was like, what is this, what I'm just curious, like I have not thought about anything, I've not like there's nowhere in my mind any of this stuff, like, but this word just kept coming to my mind again and again. And it was so strong, like that voice which told me that no, you have to go to Paris, like you have to go now. So it was as strong and as urgent as that voice. Now by this time, I've become like, I listen to the voice that comes inside my heart, so I've pay attention to it. Before I did not used to that much, but now I'm like, if damn, that voice is back again. So I'm like, okay. So I figured out, so I, for 2 days, I just like said that, okay, yeah, whatever, I just didn't pay much attention to it. After 2 days also, like, it was very strong and persistent, and every night it would just come to my mind: I'm just curious, I'm just curious, do this, do this. And now by after 2 days, after 2 nights, I'm like, now I know that this voice is not going to give up, and I'll have to actually do something about it. So I woke up in the middle of the night, because this voice was so strong, it wouldn't let me sleep at night. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, listen, okay, just, I'll do it. Tomorrow morning, I'll do it. I promise you. But just stop now. Just stop for now. Let me just sleep. And it stopped. And I went back to sleep. And I was like, damn, now I have to. Otherwise, this voice will again, like, in the night, it won't let me sleep. So, yeah, that day I researched and I started thinking, okay, I'm going to start my podcast. And within 15 days, I figured out everything. I had figured out where I could shoot, a team that could help me shoot it. I had some 6 guests who very kindly and graciously agreed to be on the first 6 guests on the podcast and share their journey. And yeah, it was very thrilling and amazing, and it made me feel very, very good, and it made me gave me like a direction and a purpose, which I, like I said, with everything, all these things I didn't even imagine, but they just happened to be, and I just happened to listen to that voice that came inside me. And yeah, everything was great. I started this. Still, I feel by this point again, now I started all this podcast and everything, like I said in the story, to divert my mind from that voice that was like, you have to accept that the feeling that you had that you belong in Paris is correct. You have to accept that. I was just diverting my mind from it. I'd neither accepted nor denied. I just kept it aside. The whole podcast thing and everything was just for a way for me to like divert my mind and everything. Again, like, it just happened, and that voice was taking me somewhere and took me somewhere. But after a while, um I think after I started my podcast and everything was going great, but still I had not, given acknowledgement to that feeling that, yeah, I felt a certain way. I felt so much like home in this city that I went to that changed my life. I was still not accepting it, acknowledging it that way, that it deserved and the way I should have, because it made me uncomfortable. And this one time in the afternoon or something, it was a weekend or not, I don't remember. I come across this video on YouTube. It was a Casey Neistat video on YouTube. I'll just put a picture here so that you guys can see what the video was. And it had some tagline about something like I belong, something, something. It had a tagline about it. And I happened to like watch it. Now, that video is what made me accept and made me come face to face and sit in that moment and, accept all the stuff that was going on in my mind. So, in the video, Casey talks about how he moved to California during the lockdown because he felt like he had earned enough. New York was too fast of a life. He loved surfing, so he could surf in California. His family could live a slow life away from the city. His kids can grow up biking around the house and everything. So he moved to California. And after a while, he realized that that's not his place. He doesn't feel at home there. He doesn't belong there. He started having this feeling that home is New York. New York is where he belongs. And I heard that. And for the first time, I'm so grateful for Casey for making that video. It changed my life. For the first time, I saw someone talk about that they don't feel like they belong somewhere. And because I felt like, oh, it was just me in the whole world who feels this feeling that I don't belong in a particular place and I belong somewhere else. And my people are some other place is home, apart from where I'm born and everything. And I watched that video. It's not a very long video. And I watched that video and I start crying. I cry and it became like a video about, I cried because I was like, it takes a stranger living in another part of a world making a video about this for you to accept that could be your truth and your reality as well. Why does it have to be like that? Why can't you, when you feel that within yourself, why can't you give yourself that, instead of you had to wait for all these years from 2019 to I think I saw that video 3 years later or something, because it came out then. It has to take 3 years for you and a stranger's video about their life for you to accept your truth and your reality and what your heart's been telling you for so long about a place where you belong. And I just watched that video twice and I just cried watching that video because it was like a letting out. It was letting go of that denial that no, I will not accept this. And while I was in that moment, I realized, why is it so important for you to not accept this thing? Let's just talk about that. Like, why are you so hell-bent that even after having such an amazing experience, you're like, no, I won't accept it. I will stay in denial about it. I will gaslight myself. I will judge myself. When I've never judged anyone else in my life for anything, any damn big or small thing, but I'll judge myself for this. Just for feeling that, oh, I belong in some other place. That I feel at home in some other place. And I was like, why is that? Where is that feeling coming from? And that picture came to my mind where I was a child I was standing outside with my cousins, the scene that I described in the beginning of this video, where I'm like with my cousins and they tell me, "Oh, you're a foreigner, you're a foreigner." That scene came to my mind. And I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And that's when I just sat with myself. I was like, it was my ego. I felt like the answer to this thing, why I'm not accepting that, yeah, Paris feels like home and it's great. Why not? Why am I not accepting that? Is because if I accept that, you know, then all those people, all these cousins, friends, whoever have ever told me in my life that you don't belong and you're a foreigner, they will be proved right. I will prove them right. And I think it became my subconscious, unconscious mission that no, how can these people tell me I'm a foreigner? I will prove them wrong. It became my mission without even me knowing. And in that moment when I was like, why can't you accept it? I was like, oh my God, this comes from there. I'm like, I've made this mission in my life, without thinking. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, so it's this, all of this is coming from that ego, you know? And then I was like, okay. First of all, you need to stop taking this on your ego now. And the second thing is, okay, these people said to you that you're a foreigner and you're different or whatever. It's true. Maybe you are. And why do you think it's just in a bad way? Why do you take it only in a bad way? Why do you feel like, no? Why do you make it a mission that, no, I want to be included and feel at home here and prove these people wrong? Why? Because I think I never had this thought. Because I felt like if I don't belong here with these people, with these cousins and friends, if I don't belong here, I will not belong anywhere. Because like I said, that's been my world. That's been my only bubble and world. So if I don't belong here, then if your own family you don't feel belong, then everyone else is the stranger only. How will you feel belong with them? But I was so wrong. Like, it's not like that. There's no blueprint like that that tells you that you can only belong with your family. You can only belong with your friends. There are people out there with whom you can connect and, you feel like you belong in that place or something in a second, in a moment, and it can last a lifetime. But I think I never entertained that possibility that if I don't belong here, then maybe I belong somewhere else. Had I had that view about it, I wouldn't have taken it so much to my ego. I wouldn't have taken it so much to my, that thing that, how could that be? I wouldn't have looked at it as end all be all, which is exactly how I felt. And I was like, wow, that's great. So if you don't belong here, if wherever you are, if, anybody, whoever's watching this right now, if you feel this feeling, if you feel that wherever you are right now, you don't feel like you belong there, maybe you belong somewhere else. And maybe that's a better place than where you are right now. And I never entertained this thought, but now I've lived it. I've lived that whole experience. I was born in a city where I didn't feel belong, and I went to Paris and it became home. So much so that I think now when I was even starting to make this video, I was like, how will I go back to that emotion and talk about all these things? Because now I feel so much better. And I don't think comfortable is the right word, but I feel so much at peace, having gone through this whole journey and knowing this and accepting this, that, yeah, no matter where I live, no matter where I go, what I do, Paris is home and will always be home because of the feeling that it gives me. It has given me this calm feeling of home that I carry with me everywhere I go. And because of that, I have this certain kind of peace that I've felt and experienced. And if you feel in any way that you feel scared, you feel overwhelmed, you feel anxious about all these things that I've already felt, listen to my story, my journey, my experience, and learn from it. Take away this from it, that but sometimes the things that you don't even dream of can happen for you if you just listen to that voice inside you. If you just, for a second, like, understand that, somehow just figure out a way to figure out that there's an inner voice that's talking to you and trying to tell you something. And if you do that, I promise you, it's only going to take you to the right place, to the place where you belong. There are always two sides of a coin. It can never be an all or nothing mentality, which sometimes it can seem that way. It can feel that way, that if it's not this, then it's nothing. But that's not true. That's not how the world works. That's not how the nature works. So, yeah, if you feel like you don't belong, like I felt like I didn't belong, I hope this video helps you. I hope you love watching this video and this becomes your Casey Neistat video, and I would feel so good about it. So, yeah, we've reached the end of this whole story. I hope I've said it in a better way. I hope it can all come together beautifully and how I want it to be. And I had a lot of fun doing this. I plan on doing this a lot more. So do let me know if you would like to watch more of such solo podcast episodes. And let me know, what do you think about this one? What are your thoughts on this one? Share it in the comments below. And I will see you next time. Thank you.